fun. The crazy stories that came in were fantastic, and maybe we'll do a little double dipping. I have to imagine that's going to be a well we're going to be able to go to every once in a while. With that, I would just like to remind you that the Quite Frankly April edition of the Bulletin, the Quite Frankly Bulletin, is out. It is linked in the description below. It is in the archives, the articles archives on quitefrankly.tv. I have shared it all over the place today. I put a little bit extra attention on BCP's exclusive video essay that he submitted to the Bulletin this month. So go and check that out because it's just for you. I think it's unlisted, so it's you have the link. You have the only link. And BCP, of course, always wonderful to have him in on everything. That's that. The call-in line, 914-200-0269. I'd like to introduce the new line because, Skype is gone. So I looked into getting ourselves a second line so I can use that as a hotline for specialized stuff if we want to be able to break up the calls and get people categorized. And as you might have expected, there was a 69 in the new one. I said, I have to look for a 69. And this one's even cooler because it's toll-free. So the new hotline is 1-888-554-5069. In case you guys were putting all of the call-in numbers into your speed dials. I'm just saying, we're not going to need it tonight, but it will be whipped out at some point over the next couple of days, maybe. All right. Well, that being said, let's do this. Let's do this. It's Tuesday night, and it's time to get this shit on the road. Be right back.
I am black. I am gay. I am disabled.
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up. Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life. It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line. That's why we're going back. Does anybody else want to stay? Let's rip
Yeah, do. It's so good to be back tonight. Yes, it's spring, but we're trying to get over the last hurdles. So you get these little windy, gusty, cold-ass days like today. The sun was out, but it was deceptive. Deceptive sun. It's kind of chilly. Anyway, welcome to the show. And I'd like to take a moment to welcome our good friend ChrissieMayr back on the show. Oh, that's not Chrissie. That's an empty seat.
That's
there she is.
My soul has left my body. It's Gusty and Busty. I'm back tonight. Happy to be here.
It's great to have you. How's the baby doing?
He's so good, Frank. Oh my God, he's gonna be two. He's gonna be one on Thursday.
You know what's crazy? It's going to be like a couple weeks from now, and you're legitimately going to be saying he's going to be 10.
People keep saying that it goes by so fast.
I'm looking at Aurora's face today. We're outside. It was cold, but still, I said, let's get outside. We need some air. So we went out there to do one thing and another. She comes up, gives me a random hug. I get to just grab her face and look at her. And I'm looking at this. I'm looking at just this face. I'm like, what? And I can see the face just changing before me.
Oh.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, I can see that with the baby too. Like he's not just like all cheeks. He's now just 80% cheeks.
I know. He'll keep the cheeks for another 2.5 years.
Oh, I really good cheekies. Yeah, he's crawling around. He loves crawling upstairs. He loves food. Like I sometimes have to maybe like stop him. He eats, I think, more than me at meals. I'm like, how big is your friggin' stomach, dude?
Well, you know what? Just when it comes to eating and napping, just let him do it. At this point, they're on instinct. At this point,
he eats hard, he naps hard, he crawls hard.
It's probably gonna be big and stocky like Frank.
Like work hard, play hard. I hope so. The only small request we have is that he be a Division I athlete, which I don't think is asking too much.
No, to be at the top of.
It's not. I was a Division I athlete. Frank played baseball all throughout like college. Like, come on.
What did you do?
I was a springboard diver.
Are you serious?
Yeah, baby. I still have the record at Fairfield U.
What the record for what?
3-meter springboard. I think it was best score for a 6-dive meet.
And that was what, like 20 years ago?
This was
15 years ago?
The record is for, I think it's, when did I break it? Yeah, 2004, maybe, something like that.
That's a long-standing record. That's awesome. I didn't even know that you swam.
That's so crazy how old it is now. Yeah.
I'm sorry I brought this existential dread.
I only swam to get to the side of the pool. You swim for lifeguarding too. They time you. You have to do like a 200-meter every couple of weeks. They make sure you're like, I don't know, 3 minutes or something. But,
wow. Okay. D1, and you've got a school record that still stands.
It's still there.
Has anybody from school, or have you been able to check in? Has anybody gotten close?
Well, I still occasionally talk to my college coach, but not often, like maybe once a year or something. He'll like a post. But you know what? I'm going to have to let him know. Let me know if anybody's getting close, and I'm going to drive up to Fairfield and heckle the meets because I can't be having people breaking the record.
No. At some point in your life,
I'm going to Nancy Kerrigan somebody.
This may be the only thing you have left.
Yeah. Is it? No, I'm going to Tanya Harding someone, or I'm going to
Kerrigan is the one that got it.
The one that got it.
She got it.
She got.
This is my record.
I shouldn't care, because then that makes me like a Glory Days person.
Obviously you're not, because you've never mentioned it in my presence. We've done a lot of hanging out.
Really? Okay. Everybody else who watches knows. I mention it. I feel like, I don't know.
And Frank played baseball.
Yeah. Oh yeah, big baseball player. Really good. He can still crush it out at the batting cages. Like when he goes every once in a while, he's still like, gush, 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 and he's a huge Yankee fan, which means I have to be a huge Yankee fan as well.
Yeah, I guess you have to.
Yeah.
Lauren has put up with me, and she's kind of like blended her. She comes from a Mets family. Okay. So she's kind of blended her allegiances at this point, and I think she also doesn't care to a certain degree. She just enjoys. She just happy to be here.
She's just there for the popcorn and peanuts.
Yeah.
What does she think of Juan Soto?
Oh, she doesn't have any opinion.
Okay.
I've got opinions, but it's not really.
They paid too much for him.
It really comes down to the economics of the thing.
Yeah.
There's no. I'm not going to deny anybody would be blessed to have a player like that in their 9-man lineup.
Yeah, he's a beast for sure. But it's just like
that money should have gone to 7 players.
Yeah,
and it's just what it is. I don't care. But anyway, there's
it's called
a lot.
Equity.
You know the greatest thing, you were talking about something, Glory Days. The one and only time I did stand up was at a show that you guys put together in, where was it again? It was in 2015. Anthony wasn't even around for it because he was on the Jaeger. He was emceeing.
I there?
Yeah, you were the MC.
What happened to my memory? I think the baby just sucked it out of me.
It was a small little club in Westchester.
Lucy's?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a pizza place across the street.
Lucy's.
Anyway. I went to that open mic there, and you gave me 5 to 7 minutes or something like that.
Shit.
And that was I had a fun time, but I'd never done it again.
Do you remember any of the jokes you told?
Actually, there was a couple. I remember there's a couple, but there was actually one that I remembered in particular because of this one story I saw in the headlines. Here it is right here. Missing teen girl. Found months later with a balding middle-aged man. Dad says that she was brainwashed. Now, the reason why I bring this up in your Glory Days and all that other stuff is because when I was doing stand-up, I spoke a little bit about my desire.
Balding middle-aged man.
Yeah. I had given myself a little bit of a goal, a personal goal, to get out of my childhood bedroom by the time I hit 30. I wanted to be, I had to get out, whatever. So Lauren and I were about to move in together. I was about 28. It's like, this is good. And 30 was very important to me, especially because I was balding. I said, because
really? Because I don't think about that at all when I think of you. It's not even.
Oh well, shit. I don't walk around with the I don't have the full horseshoe.
You're not advertising.
No, and I'm always shaving
You're not
and
telling
stuff.
People. Yeah.
But there's something about when you're in your childhood bedroom and you're overstaying your welcome.
Oh, yeah.
There's one thing to sneak out of the house and not want to disturb your mother when she's sleeping when you are, 19, 20, maybe even 25. You just sneak in, sneak out. It's another thing for a 30-year-old balding guy to be sneaking out of the house is a little bit more awkward. And I didn't want to feel that.
And were you sneaking girls in too?
No.
Okay.
No.
You were sneaking out to get tail.
It's for whatever the hell it was. Usually just for pizza burgers. I would usually I would sneak out to get diner food, and then I'd come back home and whatever. But still, there's something about the balding middle-aged man thing that really triggered me thinking about that joke. And listen to the story in itself. Hold on. There you go. A pregnant Wisconsin teen was found in Nebraska on Wednesday after being missing since February 3rd. Sophia Franklin, 16, of Beaver Dam, was found near Omaha, Nebraska, with Gary Day, 40 years old.
Wait, so she went from where to Nebraska?
She was from Wisconsin to
Nebraska. Is that far? How many states is that?
It's far enough.
Yeah, you're not going to walk that.
No, and it's February 3rd she was gone. She's 16. She was found near Omaha with this guy, Gary. He's a 40-year-old named Gary guy, who was the father of her preborn child.
Wait, he's 40? He's just 40?
He's just 40.
There's something a little bit better about hearing that he's just 40.
That's not a 40-year-old.
Oh, God. No, he looks like shit.
No.
Either he's on a lot of meth. He looks terrible for 40. No, there's no way. He has to be 60.
That's not a 40-year-old man.
There's no way. Unless, if he shaves the beard, that's a bad 40.
That's a bad 40. I just turned 40 on Wednesday. I can't.
You don't look it at all.
But maybe if I grew my beard out like that and I let the hair, the George Costanza thing happen, do you think I would look like that?
This is like Unabomber. I know it's just because he's in a Unabomber costume and he's doing like the 1,000-yard stare there. But this is not good. I really am trying to imagine this guy with a shaved face.
Well, apparently he's the one that got this girl pregnant.
Ugh.
The woman was found in Franklin, was listed missing, and contacted police, who responded to detain Day, a native of Arkansas. Even before he was arrested, Day was charged with 2 counts of child abduction and 2 counts of child enticement in Wisconsin. He's also on probation for endangering a child in Arkansas. This guy's a problem.
Yeah, Chad is saying he looks 55.
No, unless we're talking about drugs will definitely take it out of you.
Drinking too.
Drinking, drugs. This guy's tired. Then again, he's spending a lot of time bouncing between Arkansas and Wisconsin and Omaha,
trying to get it up to impregnate a teen.
I know. So there's a lot. There's a lot here that needs.
And like the stress of not getting caught. When you live a lie, I think that's very stressful.
It is. We are the first parenting generation to deal with this, she said. Leah Franklin said, in the world of online predators, she said, this is the first parenting generation we have to deal with this. We are the guinea pigs, or something needs to change. So, but dealing with, where's the brainwashing aspect comes in? We have an epidemic on our hands, Leah Franklin added. We are keeping these laws the same, even though times have changed. After a situation like this, we can't just sit here and do nothing. My daughter can go out and buy a phone wherever she wants. Once they have a phone, the entire world is at their fingertips. Predators have access to you.
How old exactly is she? Is she 18, 19?
It said 16 in the beginning.
16, ugh. What did she meet this guy like on Snapchat or
in December?
Fortnite?
It could be. The Fortnite stuff. Let's see here. Day met Franklin online last April and later brought the girl to his Arkansas home. In December, a probation check discovered that Franklin was living with Day, which led to her returning to Wisconsin. Although Day was legally barred from contacting the teen, they continued to communicate until Day was seen approaching Franklin's house in February. I wonder if the 16-year-old is like disabled or something.
And what happens if she has the kid? And I guess she's gonna have the kid, and then that's her dad.
Yeah, and this guy apparently has some kind of real draw. I don't know what the hell it is, but they don't give us too much more beyond that. Like
what it was about him that drew her in.
Yeah,
she probably was like, wow, a man with a job.
What's the job? I don't know, but there's too much. Speaking of jobs, do you know where the hell was it?
But yeah, like at 16, you're not really looking for a life partner.
I don't know. You know, I understand that everybody feels very rebellious as a teenager. And I described the teens as one of those decades where you're like a race dog that is behind the starting gate. everything you want to do, you can't do. But this is when you start getting the urges to do it. You want to go out and be just in social situations at a club.
You want to drink.
You want to go to a club. You want to be autonomous in some way. You want to drive yourself. You still got to ask your parents for rides, at least to a certain degree. So I understand that. And I understand that whole situation of, you know, younger guys dating older women, younger girls dating, you know, older teen guys, and everybody's just trying to like skip ahead. So it happens.
But 40, like how did they meet?
Exactly.
And he's a predator. You know?
That face, I don't know.
The fact that you are 40 going for a 16-year-old, you are a predator. I think if you're 21 going for a 16-year-old, you're a predator technically.
In the eyes of the law,
but that's more forgiving.
In the eyes of the law, no doubt. But you know, 10 years down the line, 5 years doesn't really matter too much. But
he should have found a nice, there's not enough 35-year-old women to go around.
I know.
Nebraska.
I know, it's plenty. There's so many 35-year-olds. Hey, have you done any discussions on the Zizian cult?
No, I haven't even heard of the Zizians.
Do you know Andy No?
I know him.
Oh, you got him there.
Yeah. Yes, I'm familiar with Andy No.
Well, he's doing a little bit more on the Zizians here.
Wow.
A member of this cult is facing murder charges and disrupts the court with outbursts about transphobia. Now, I got to say, I know that this is laughable to a lot of people, but it's very serious.
A couple of rough-looking characters here.
This is some serious stuff. The mental illness factor is serious. And I don't know. This is at a court hearing in Fairfield, California on Tuesday. Meant to set a new trial date for two trans Zizian members accused of murder, attempted murder, and escape. One of the defendants was ordered to be ejected again from the courtroom after screaming repeatedly about transphobia.
Wow.
The jail has been hormonally detransitioning me for a quarter of a decade. I know.
Oh.
For a quarter of a decade. So I guess
Wait a second.
That's
Who says a quarter of a decade?
2.5 years. I don't know.
Calm down. A quarter. Oh my God! I've been here a quarter of an hour already.
Exactly. I've been detransitioning for 15 minutes.
They've been detransitioning me for a quarter of a decade.
Alexander Somni Litham yelled behind a mask while reading from the statement he held in shackled hands, which rattled loudly during the outburst. Litham, who stands at 6 feet tall, resisted and tried to break out of the grasp of two sheriff's deputies. Letham, 29 years old, is a male who identifies as transgender woman. His co-defendant, Suri Dao, I guess that's the Asian-looking character on the right, 24 years old, is a woman who identifies as a trans non-binary. They are both members of an extremist transgender leftist rationalist vegan cult.
Vegan, of course.
Extremist transgender leftist rationalist vegan cult. That's one hell of it.
What does it mean to be a rationalist? Like they don't sound rational.
Let's go into it. Hold on. You know what we can ask real quick?
Grok?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What does it mean to be a rationalist?
Is that a gaming keyboard? It's very loud and clickety-clackety.
I need things that click.
I just switched my keyboard to a louder clickety-clacketier one.
I had to get rid of several quiet keyboards because it just did not do anything for me. I felt like I was.
It's a man thing, I think. I didn't mind a quiet keyboard, but everyone's like, "You gotta get the loud boy." I was like, "All right."
It's like reversing into a parking spot.
Yes. Did we talk about this already? That's such a man thing. Women have no desire to reverse into a parking spot. Are you kidding me? We don't have that kind of time.
No, we don't have that time. This is about sharpening steel. You need to keep certain skills.
Yeah. That's a perfect way to describe it.
Let's see. To be a rationalist means to prioritize reason, because I guess it's self-explanatory, and evidence as the primary tools for understanding the world and making decisions. That sounds stupid. That's not.
That sounds stupid.
Why does it have its own tag? Isn't that just I'm a rationalist.
You just need
thi-
a lot of titles.
to prioritize reason and logic. You get your own title. That's stupid.
That is stupid.
I was waiting for some kind of
It
urban dictionary.
Yeah, it undoes the rest of it. Like, you can't be a rationalist if you're also trans and a vegan. That means you're irrational and retarded.
Yeah. Apparently, this is an old label too. Spinoza, Leibniz, champion rationalism. They arguing that reason could unlock truths about reality. And today, it often shows up in science skepticism and even online communities like Less Wrong, where people obsess over refining their thinking processes. That said, rationalism isn't flawless. That means
okay.
over relying on abstract logic can sometimes miss the messy, practical realities of life. Yes. So it's kind of like
rationalist. It just sounds like you're very into yourself.
Yes. Absolutely. Well, there's nothing more narcissistic than these types of trans circles. I think I forget what when we were starting to really get the data on what was showing up and the clinical data on this, it said that most people in those circles are experiencing at least two. It's almost like with COVID, the people who were dying were those who had 2 to 3 comorbidities at the same time.
Like a co-mental illness.
Right. There's at least 2 or 3 at the same time.
Yeah.
There's a lot of bipolar. There's a lot of narcissism. I think 60% narcissist.
We're
talking about clinical diagnoses too.
People who are busy like serving others or working or have a higher goal are not thinking like, what could I do with my genitals to mix it up?
I know.
That's something with someone's got too much time on their hands, starts going, what would I look like with no boobs? What would I look like if I grew a dick on my arm? Who has the time and money for that?
You think anybody's attempted to cut their genitals off with one of those pancake forks from McDonald's?
Oh, the sporks?
Like you remember the old the long like the 1990s one
pancake fork?
Yeah, they had some ridges.
I feel like I'm old enough to have seen one of these, but I'm drawing a blank.
The pancake knife, I should say.
Okay,
it used to come with the knife and the fork. Yeah,
just like a plastic knife.
Floppy plastic knife. It's serrated though.
Why do you need a knife for pancakes anyway? Just rip into them like a man.
Because
the syrup gets messy.
No, because the forks were shit.
Oh, right. Okay.
The forks were bendy, twisty pieces of shit. You needed the knife. It was one of those situations where McDonald's made you eat proper because both
that was the last time they did that.
Both utensils were inferior on their own, but together they made a semi-decent.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think things were better when McDonald's breakfast, like, you couldn't get it 24 hours a day. I remember, like, I would go, I think after church with Dad, and we'd go to McDonald's breakfast. It was like such a big deal. It'd be like I get the bacon, egg, and cheese on a biscuit, and it was like, because it was like a rare item. It was a rare delicacy. And
it's true. We
had like no junk food in my house growing up, so it was like anything with cheese on it was like a huge deal.
I did that with my parents whenever we would do McDonald's, and I agree with you that trying to get there before the 11 a.m. cutoff, or sometimes some places it was like 10:30. That's wrong to make people eat those cheeseburgers at 10:45.
Yeah, come on, it's not lunch at 11. That's crazy.
Yeah, I know that's wrong, but
it should be optional. There should be an overlap period.
Yeah, like there should be a transition.
Mm-hmm. That's the only place there should be a transition.
Exactly. There should be a transition between the breakfast and the lunch.
Because you know what? Frank as a person, my husband is the type of person who will show up wanting a hamburger at 10:30 in the morning. Like, he is a lunch person. He'll be a lunch person at 7 a.m. He's a lunch person at noon, you know.
What time does he wake up in the morning?
Oh, well, early. Probably like 6.
There you go.
Yeah.
You're ready for lunch at 11 a.m. if you wake up at 6.
Yeah.
I'm totally down with that. And at this point, I'm eating beef in all times of the day that I never used to, because it's just like it's just beef.
Are you doing more keto?
What? Just
carnivore?
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't call it strictly carnivore, but I'm just piling it on whatever I can.
Meat man.
Yeah.
You know what I bought today? Before the show, Frank watched me wolf down a whole container of plantain chips, because we're where we're at. There's a Hispanic population.
Oh, you got that downstairs?
I was like, I need a snack because I'm like, I didn't really have time to like eat that much. But then I also got a bag of these fried pork skins, which is what I used to eat all the time when I was doing like keto carnivore. And like they're kind of gross, but once you start eating them, like you get used to it.
They're pork rinds.
And they're almost good.
Pork rinds, yeah. Right? But they call them fried pork skins.
They're pork rinds. Some of them are nice and like kind of softer, and then some of them have like the skin on them.
You know what we do? The pork rinds, I've actually been eating them a little bit recently because we've been working them into these carnivore pizzas that we've been making.
Ooh.
Yeah. My buddy Jay, the nutritionist who's always on the show.
What do you do for a crust?
Well, turkey. Listen to this.
Turkey?
It's awesome. It's really awesome. So you get like a pound of ground turkey and you mix it in with an egg and you take all these, I don't know what it was, like maybe maybe a cup or something, I don't know, but you're a bunch of pork rinds and you're grinding it down into a powder.
Okay.
So then you take the pork rinds and you take the egg and you mix it in with the turkey, the ground turkey, and then you roll that shit out. And you can make 2 mini pizzas, but there's a pound of turkey right there. So what we do was we roll them out into 2 mini pizzas, and that essentially becomes your crust. And you can make it as thick or as thin as you want. It's awesome. Once that's all done, we put there's one was pepperoni and cheese and all that, but the other one that I really love, on top of the crust that you just make, we put what is it? Goat cheese and brisket.
Whoa.
Let me tell you something. That is a pizza. You can sit down and eat the whole thing and you have nothing to worry about as far as guilt, and you feel like $1,000,000.
The opposite of real pizza.
Exactly.
Where you sit down and you keep eating, you're like, what have I done? Just one more. Just, you know what? Just finish it. Just eat the last piece, and so it's out of the house.
You don't go, no sleepy poison. That's what it feels like. Even though I love pizza, but still, every once in a while, I'm going to have that on Friday night probably.
Wow.
Yeah. So your pork rinds, you can turn it into pizza crust.
I kind of want to try this.
Little Frankie's going to love it.
I'm easing it back into this diet because whenever the bean wants to stop nursing, I'm going to go back to my hardcore diet and workout regime. And then no one will be able to stop me.
Yeah, that's it. Once that happens, hold on. Here, I'm going to show you a picture. Where the hell is it? Where am I? Okay, take a look at this.
Oh, croissants. You're right, chat. Croissants are like,
look,
best.
That's the
that
the pizza.
Looks like shit, but I'm sure it tastes good.
The one on the left to the bottom, that's the brisket and the goat cheese.
One. But see, when you get onto these diets, it's like you stop caring about what food looks like, and you just simply want to fill up and like not be hungry. So
there's so much protein in this.
Good.
Okay,
that looks good.
It'll turn you into an Adonis.
Ooh,
just I can
Charlie
flex
Sheen. My titty meat.
I don't understand. Did you ever meet? What's the highest profile celebrity you've met along the way? Just in anything
other than myself?
Yes.
I mean, I did Adam Carolla's show a couple weeks ago. That felt like a big deal. Yeah, like met. Yeah, him, Dr. Drew. D. Snyder said hello to me once when I was at Sirius XM, and I'm pretty sure he thought I was somebody else because I was like, he was like, "Hey, what's up?" And I was just like, "What the fuck?" Like,
is he having his own show over there?
He must have been like, I think this was like during or before COVID, and I was like, "What?" He's like, "Hey." He
became, I don't know. D. Snyder. I like D. Snyder. I like Twisted Sister. They actually have a lot of local history around here.
Oh wow!
Twisted Sister played a lot of like their bigger earlier shows, just like on Boston Post Road, on venues that don't exist anymore.
Now they're bodegas.
Willow Street. That theater is still there technically, but I don't know what the hell it's. I think there's nothing going on there. We used to have a lot of really interesting things going on around, but he's beclowned himself a couple of times politically.
Okay, he's a lefty.
I forget who the hell was. Did he come after John Schaefer of Iced Earth after January 6th? There's a lot of people that piled on top of him.
That's it. I hate him.
No, son of a bitch. I don't know. Let's see.
Like biggest person. Let me think.
Wait a second.
Met or like done a show with. You know what? Maybe Roger Stone is like the most famous person I've met.
In person?
Yeah. Him and Coulter.
Well, you do a lot of emceeing.
Yeah.
I mean, you hosted for Minds. Minds.com.
That was great. That was the night I got engaged.
Really?
Yeah, Frank proposed after that Minds show at the Beacon Theater. It was great. It was a great day.
So you know what was going on. I was there for a little bit. Actually, we had to leave halfway through, right in the middle of like one of the first panels, because I had to get back here to do a Saturday night show.
Oh.
So while you were getting proposed to, I was interviewing a guy who in a past life claimed he was Thomas Andrews, the designer of the Titanic, who went down.
Whoa,
Yeah.
Cool.
That was an interesting night.
And did you ask him why he didn't put more lifeboats?
No, I didn't ask him about that because I think at this point
it's a triggering subject.
I wouldn't want to send him down that road.
You would want to sink the interview.
Right. No, that would have gone down in a that would have been
You didn't want
really
to make
bad.
a splash.
Keep going.
You didn't want him to get all icy on you.
Yeah, I would have iced over. But you were getting proposed to. So that was great.
I was genuinely surprised. It was cool.
By the way, Jay Gulanello just got in touch with me. He said, actually, Chrissie tried the carnivore pizza at the Christmas party. She had the brisket and the goat cheese one.
Oh, I did. Yeah, it was over here on the table.
Oh yeah, I like it. Was terrible. Was it good?
No. I had gotten here past the prime time of the pizza. Like it was
so
cold already. It was like kind of melting. But you know what? It's party food. You don't expect party food to be good. It's just something to put in your mouth.
You gotta be kidding me. It was fantastic pizza. I think it was fantastic. Anyway, well, you know what? Whatever. It's just
was
something
good. Okay, fine. I changed my. It was the best pizza I've ever had. I changed my mind.
It's all right. Whatever, everybody.
Wait, did you make it yourself?
No, that was
Okay.
Jay. So you cannot like that.
Sorry, Jay.
You cannot like it if you don't
Whatever
want.
the right answer is, tell me and I'll say it.
What do you think about what do you think about Neuralink? Would you ever?
Don't trust it. Don't like it. Don't want it. Don't want. Oh, but the handicapped people can walk again. Tough shit. Be handicapped. I don't know.
What about this though?
I'm really sus of it.
They're looking for patients globally to put the brain chips in. You wouldn't say, hey, you want to go see if your legs can work again? Try this out.
I guess if I were handicapped in a horrible accident, I probably would go for this.
You know, the crazy thing is though, there's so many other things that are happening at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
For example, the first baby in the UK has been born from a womb transplant.
Oh, it begins. I hate this too.
No,
I don't like it. I don't like surrogates. I don't like fucking babies coming from a lab.
This is scarier.
Womb transplant. Wait, they put a lady's womb inside a man or something?
Even if it's not, you know that's where it's going.
Womb, it is. That is where it's going.
It's going to be like
they're going to use it for icky trans people, and then ultimately the transhumanist agenda, and they'll be like, "We'll just have a bunch of wombs in a lab, and you don't even need a mother."
When Amy Isabel Davidson was born 6 weeks ago, surgeons in her delivery room broke down in tears of joy. The little girl made history by becoming the first child in Britain to be born from a womb transplant, an organ donated by her aunt to her mother. Amy was
okay. All right, I'm listening. There's not gay people involved, so I'm a little bit more.
It doesn't matter though.
Yeah.
Because the fact that this has been tried.
They did it.
Yay, it's going into a man.
Ugh, yeah,
especially
you're right.
over there in England. They're not going to, I mean, they fire doctors for
How can they find room inside of a man? What do you got to scrape out something like balls or something? Like, what do you do? Where, you know what I mean? If you're going to put a womb inside of a man, you got to move some shit out of the way, I imagine.
Well, yeah.
Where do you put it? Is there room for a room?
Well,
or room for a womb?
I'm thinking we must have a lot of. Do we have to have some empty space in there because we don't?
But it's like God's design probably doesn't allow for empty space.
Right, but then again, we're in Frankenstein land right now.
Yeah, that's true. We're growing dicks on our arms.
Yeah, when you're talking about this, we're talking about Frankenstein. So it's just a matter of what can be moved around. I mean, the way that the way that you ladies rearrange your insides when you have a baby is incredible.
Right.
What your body does is absolutely
That's pretty
nuts.
cool. It pushes all your organs like into your chin.
It's nuts.
And then you're just out of breath all the time, and you're knocking things over.
Yeah. Oh, they're gonna find it. They've been telling us this since in the 90s when that Schwarzenegger film came out. What was it called? Junior?
Yeah. It's not the tumor.
Yeah.
Wait, that's
he got
Kindergarten Cop.
That was a bad one, that movie. I remember watching it and saying, this was just, if you're growing up in the late 80s, early 90s, you're starting to watch a lot of movies, and especially if you're a boy and you're liking, you have your action film stars and all that shit. When you see, there's a new Schwarzenegger film coming out, and he's hormonal and he's growing a baby in his belly, that was a real big letdown for me.
You're 100% right. I just saw a comment in the chat that this is a game changer. He's saying, this is from Gen X of the Seventh Power. He said, it won't work. Women's hips can spread. The muscles are more flexible. Think about it. And a man's hips are more narrow. I think if this goes where I think it's going, well, shit. They'll just have a C-section.
Absolutely.
Then.
Yeah. They're not going to. This is not going to be. First of all, there's
foiled again.
I'm telling you, the one thing that's not going to happen here. You don't have. You might be able to make the space. This is horrible to even think about because somebody's going to try it. But the one thing we don't have is the actual muscle recruitment that women do to start expelling the baby. And actually have a canal, a birth canal.
Contractions, right?
That's not there. So it's just a matter of what phase in gestation are we in, and then it's time to cut it out. Ooh. I mean, that's just that.
Right? They pop your water for you, I guess, or they go get it.
Yeah, I guess water. Oh yeah.
I don't know.
Let's see. Amy was delivered by NHS cesarean section on February 27th at Queens.
C-section.
Even for the women. Charlotte and Chelsea Hospital in London. Her mother, Grace Davidson, 36 years old, described the feeling of shock at holding her daughter after getting a womb transplant from her older sister in 2023, whom Amy is named after. Wait, is Amy actually a woman?
Oh,
I wonder if we're being.
Please be a woman.
The birth described by NHS as a miracle of Amy is a medical milestone that gives hopes to thousands of British women without a functioning womb for whom it would previously have been impossible to carry a child. Davison, an NHS dietitian from North London, was diagnosed as having no womb when she was 19.
What?
No womb. As a result of a rare condition called Mayr-Rokitansky-Kuster MRKH. In February 23, she became the first British woman.
That's wild. I don't know. Maybe that's God's way of saying you're not supposed to have a kid.
I don't know. Listen.
But look how happy they are. Yeah, I mean, it's in her family. Unfortunately, they're just not going to keep it to people like this. They're going to use this on sick fucks.
It's going to go there. No doubt about it. It's going to go there. And not only that, but did you see the cloning thing that came out with the dire wolf?
Oh, yeah, he was so cute. They had two little puppies.
You see, this you can get behind because it was a cute little dire wolf puppy from like 27,000 years ago.
How'd they do it? Was something frozen in amber?
It was... Yeah, it should be. It's that CRISPR stuff, that CRISPR program or whatever the hell it is, that genetic program.
The Ninja air fryer? We have one of those.
I know. My mother has an air fryer. She's been making everything with that damn thing. And it's been working. She's eating more steak, so fuck it.
That's good.
But hold on. I have this because, man, I got to show this all along the way to a few other people. The automated industrialized reproduction stuff has been going nuts. Where the hell is it? Colossal Biosciences. Sound on. You're hearing the first howl of a dire wolf in over 10,000 years. Meet Romulus and Remus, the world's first de-extinct animals, born on October 1st, 2024. What does their howl
sound like? Ow. Oh my God. They're so cute.
I'm glad you think that the end of humanity is cute.
Oh, dang. For a second, I thought it was one two-headed wolf.
That's next. That's next.
Ugh.
The chimeric creatures.
Oh no!
Let's
But
see
wait,
here.
how did they do this? Okay, you were in the middle of reading it.
Well, the 2 wolves were brought back from extinction using genetic edits derived from a complete dire wolf genome, meticulously reconstructed by Colossal. This company, Colossal. I already reached out to them to see if I can get an interview, but what kind of clout do I have? I don't know. From ancient DNA found in fossils dating back 11,500 and 72,000 years. This moment marks not only a milestone for us as a company, but also a leap forward for science, conservation, and humanity. From the beginning, our goal has been clear: to revolutionize history and be the first company to use CRISPR technology successfully in the de-extinction of previously lost species. By achieving this, we continue to push forward our broader mission on accepting humanity's duty to restore Earth to a healthier state.
Except they're probably not going to just use this on endangered species. It's going to be like Bill Gates being like, I want a clone of myself.
Yes.
Can you just upload my consciousness into a new model, something where my body doesn't look like a melted candle in a cardigan?
This was actually one of the least, I mean, in our circles, we talk about all aspects of it, but one of the least talked about aspects of Jeffrey Epstein's operation.
Right. He had like a baby pod or something. He like wanted to keep
at Zorro Ranch.
Yeah. He wanted like, I don't know, lots and lots of babies.
He's seeding himself.
Ugh.
I know.
It's always the least attractive people who like to do this.
You know what I never really pushed on though? I never really got any,
he has a penis shaped like an egg. Why do we need to make more of that?
I read that in some of those affidavits and stuff.
I hope the egg dick genes didn't pass down.
I don't understand that. I didn't even know that was possible, that you can have an egg-shaped dick until I saw this.
We used to call them chodes.
Oh, yeah. But I still, whenever I heard of, when I learned about what a chode was, I envisioned.
I looked down and everything made sense.
Cylindrical. I'm thinking that this is a cylindrical, still like a small soup can. But the like, I don't know. It's very strange what I read about, but I never really got anything on how far he went with his plan out there. How far did he go?
Right. Were there babies born? Was it? Yeah.
Are there Epstein clones out there somewhere?
Ugh.
Or we're talking like Charlie Manson. He was like seeding half the country. Apparently, like Charlie Manson has dozens of illegitimate children all over the place.
Whoa.
Yeah. I don't know.
That's fascinating.
Well, it's entertainment industry. You should know all about it.
I should know where all the clones are.
Have you read anything? Have you ever read about Laurel Canyon or?
You could have just stopped at "Have you ever read?"
Okay, so no, I have not.
No, I haven't.
There's a lot there, man. There's a lot, and I want to bring up cloning again, maybe on Thursday night or something like that.
It's a fascinating topic. It's like, ugh. If only there was a way to. No, there's no way to keep it for good causes. You're going against like the natural design of things.
Yeah, I mean that's what it comes down to. Is the old Jurassic Park, Ian Malcolm quandary. It's just because you can do something doesn't mean you should.
Right.
And for a while,
like putting a mason jar up your butt. You ever see that video? Don't.
You actually saw somebody attempt it?
I don't know how this crossed my path, but yeah, there's a guy who likes to he puts like Christmas ornaments in his butt till they break. He sits on mason jars till they break. It's gross. It's like a horrible, just because you can put things in your butt like that doesn't mean you should.
Yeah, but the jar got in?
Yeah, it's like broken off. There's videos where he's bleeding. It's really terrible. It's like really, really disgusting.
Wow.
And this is the kind of stuff we used to watch on Compound Media.
Well, every December, around that last broadcast of the year, I take out the ER reports. We do a countdown every year. Somebody compiles all of the inanimate objects that people had to go to the ER to have removed from their ass.
Oh my God, that's funny.
Every year, it's the last week in December.
Please invite me back for that show.
You got it. You got it. I mean,
I want to be here for Ass Week.
Like, you have no clue. Like, we're talking about.
What's the worst thing you've seen or heard?
Well, there are the things that that baffle me are the ones that I really can't conceptualize how the entry works. Like there are certain parts of lamps.
Oh.
So it wasn't like there's certain portions of a lamp. Even
Right,
to have
do you take the shade off first and then put that in next? Or do you do lamp shade first? Lamp second?
Let's see. Back by popular demand.
God, just buy a purse.
Here you go. Here you go. Defector. This came out on actually Christmas Day last year. What did we get stuck in our rectums last year?
Could you please do it on a Wednesday and you can call it Ass Wednesday?
Oh God.
That's Fealty's idea in the chat.
Oh, good.
Ass
Good one.
Wednesday.
Very nice. But here,
You know, you got to smear a little on your forehead.
there's all types of things here, though. This is what
God.
people got stuck in
Glue.
their penis.
Plastic fork.
All the stuff was stuck in vaginas.
2 pencils. Oh, that's a vagina thing.
Yeah, and then asses are down there. A foam ball, a xylophone mallet,
Xylophone mallet. That makes a nice soft sound.
cylindrical wooden block,
Bung, 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 bung.
cooking
spray. Pam.
a Pam,
Pam left me, so I got my own.
shampoo bottle, lotion bottle.
Pert Plus. It's a 2-in-1.
I know. Look at that. A D battery. I think that's the only thing people are using D batteries for these days.
Battery.
Remember those?
Yeah, I guess I didn't know.
A 50-cent piece. Why?
Ugh.
This is what I'm talking about. Like there's a lot of just I don't know.
Well, I guess once you put a dime up there, a nickel, a penny,
look,
it just keeps going.
Wire hanger.
Oh no.
That's what I'm talking about. There's things in here.
Trying to abort their butt baby. That's crazy.
Light bulbs broken. Marbles, darts, plastic lemon, fake banana, a Jello mold, and yeah, there's
poor grandma's looking around for her Jello mold.
She ain't getting it back.
She's never gonna find it.
No way. So be on the lookout for that around the last week of every December, and that's another moment you can just sit there and take a breath and say what's happening to us.
See,
and why.
Again, these are people who have too much. If you have time to put various like crazy objects up your ass, like you have too much time on your hands.
It sounds like they're making time.
They are. They're making time for it. But you're not busy enough if you're making time for this.
Like some of those people went to their job that day and they're sitting in their cubicle
thinking all day, I'm going to go home and put a piece of a blender in my butt.
There's somebody sitting
They're
at a
thinking
cubicle
about that Jello mold
right now, shaking their leg, thinking about a 50-cent piece. Like I'm as soon as I get home, I swear to God.
And
as
then
soon
they
as
have
I
to
get
go to the ER to make change.
Oh my gosh. I'm always assessing the mental makeup. There's a lot going on. And
it's almost like the things in your butt. It's like that's the least of our problems. People sticking Jello molds in their butt.
I know. Well, here, you know what we're going to do? We're going to take a really quick break. When we come back, I want to do the sensitivity training clips.
Ooh.
I want to go and take that and lead it right into this short exchange between Bill Maher and Chris Cuomo. That'll open up some larger questions for the audience and everybody else. And then I want to just open the lines and have people call in.
Yes, we love the phones.
Yes, especially if you guys have any sensitivity training stories from your jobs. If you have cringy sensitivity training stories, I want to hear about it. The other thing that I'll also accept tonight is anything to tack onto what we were discussing last night when we were talking about tariffs and all that. I said, well, what were things that were built so much better years ago that you would gladly pay extra to have them again? We went through washing machines last night, furniture, cars. We did a lot of that stuff. Comments. So we could do further comments on the way things used to be built and all that in just a few minutes. Actually, just a minute and a half. Don't go anywhere. In fact, share the show far and wide so we have even more people watching in the second half than we did in the first. Be right back. Quite Frankly and Rise Attire have come together to create a merchandise collection that is sure to draw eyes and start conversation. High-quality t-shirts and hoodies that are perfect gifts for the Franklies in your life, or even if you just want to treat yourself. You can wear your Quite Frankly gear proudly, knowing that everyone else around you is a fucking loser for not already knowing about the show. So go to the merch tab on quitefrankly.tv and check out the growing collection of Quite Frankly classics, including the Founding Frankly, the Quite Nationals baseball tees and hoodies, the special edition Tony Black tee, or protest the United Nations like a Chad. It's all laid out for you there on the QuiteFrankly.tv merch page. And remember, when you wear Quite Frankly merchandise, you're simply better than you were when you were naked.
The Lord Jehovah has given unto you these 15, 10 commandments.
Quite frankly, he's amazing.
And
What? That seems like I have a YouTube person. Maybe I can see if he can help you.
Well, I mean, I was just able to do the defensive driving course.
Okay.
You know, you can do the little test there.
Okay, good.
And then I reapplied, and it says it takes about a month. If I get rejected, maybe I'll ask you to tap somebody on the shoulder, but I don't know. It's just a blessing to be able to say I can stream live there on 7 o'clock and have another option for people because so many others didn't even make it out.
Yeah, true.
But anyway, Rev, for those of you who want to send a super chat to the show, for now, the universal one is quitefranklysuperchat.com. And Revolution says, tell Chrissie my wife always backs in, even to our garage.
That's a keeper.
Also, tell her I can't help but imagine her voice, her voicing Louise Belcher from Bob's Burgers. You know, you ever watch Bob's Burgers?
How does her voice go? Like, oh, no, I can't.
I don't watch
I
it.
have to
I don't know.
listen to it to do it.
I know the animation style, but I never
Oh,
watched.
is that what's the guy's name who does that? He did this viral video called The Tree. Oh, there's a tree. Come look at the tree. Pick up all that shit. He's like one of my favorite really people. What the hell's his name? I moved into this city and now he's gay.
Louise Belcher being iconic savage. Hold on. Let me listen to this because I've never heard
Somebody
anything.
in the chat knows. This guy's like one of my all-time favorites. If you look up, on YouTube, a video called The Tree.
Wait, let me hear this Louise character first.
Oh, yeah.
Hello? Are you a little bunny?
Oh, okay.
I smell fear on you.
This is
Okay,
totally.
I don't like that one.
Louise Belcher.
Louise Belcher is voiced by what the fuck's her name?
Shal.
She's like a weird, quirky. She's got bug eyes.
Kristen Shaw.
Kristen Shaw, yeah.
I don't know.
That's totally different than what I was thinking of.
It didn't. I didn't. I mean, I guess you can fill into the role, and it would.
If I had to do the voice, I could. I just need to listen
Trouble
to
again.
it for a little bit.
Drink some cranberry juice.
What? No, not you're in trouble. You are in trouble.
I hate Miss Schrader's dumb rules.
I can see
It's
it.
kind of a I hate Miss Strader's dumb rules.
You got to do some voice acting. Have you ever done it?
No.
You got to slip into some kind of an animation project.
I know. Why am I not in a cartoon by now?
I would love to be a cartoon voice.
Yeah, what kind of a cartoon creature do you think you would be?
Oh, I don't know. I'm willing to do anything. In fact, there was somebody out there in the audience. His son. I'll never put it out there. It was on my to-do list. His son, he was in high school and he had like a stop motion animation project, and he reached out to me and said, "Hey, I'd love to have you, be a part of this." It was almost like a Lego character, Superman. I was Lex Luthor.
Ooh.
And it was a lot of fun. I recorded it, and I feel like around the time that it might have been around 2021, and he got it back to me last year, and I got to see it.
Oh wow, that's cool.
And I don't know where the hell it is. I have to check it out. But I would be down for that. I would love that. I would love to do some more acting just in general. All right, so that was from Revolution. Jay Britt says, Frank, so a rationalist is basically a Vulcan. Got it.
Okay.
Yeah, no emotions.
Okay. All right.
You can't. Katie Sky D says, if you put the womb in the balls, then where does the pee go? I don't know. Because as we all know,
right,
pee is stored in the balls.
Pee is made in the balls. Isn't it? No, it's from the bladder. The sperm is in the balls.
I think so. I think you're right. Cave Toad says, Chrissie becoming a Glory Days person is inevitable. So,
right. Everyone ultimately becomes a.
Well, you think about the Glory Days that we're going to have to say. I'm already talking about the Glory Days of, the first
10
studio.
years ago.
The first studio and all that shit.
Yeah, that was cool. That was a cool time.
This December is going to be 10 years that we've been here.
Wow.
And I think about the entire time that we had at the first studio. That was only 6 years.
Wow.
Which seemed like a lot, but now, like we said before, 6 years is nothing.
We did a 3-drink minimum at the old studio, and Frank asked me to do this podcast. We had been dating like a month, and he was like, do a podcast with me, which is a huge commitment. And I was like, just said yes instantly. That should have told me that this is going to be my forever person.
You got to have all those things on. You have all those archived, right?
They're somewhere. Yeah, where are they?
I would
question.
You gotta.
I know we have an old Facebook fan page for it.
Oh man!
But I would love to watch those old episodes.
You got to, and you got to look through them, and you got. I mean, I would just love to see the old studio again.
Yeah,
I have I have all of our archives, but I just love seeing everybody else doing their thing. It's a lot of fun.
I think we had Tim Dillon on an episode like before he blew up. Honestly,
yeah. You blew my mind last time you were on this show when you mentioned that, because obviously Tim Dillon is doing very well for himself these days. And I never have any memory of him being in the studio. And the fact that he was there in studio as an unknown,
he wasn't as fat. No. Yeah, it must have been like 2014, 2015.
Telling you, that little hub, that little studio space has a lot of crazy, obscure internet history root stories.
Yes, and all the stuff your brother did.
I mean, there's a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot in there. Stories that, and now there's no trace of it.
Wow.
The building's been turned into a storage facility.
I liked that I could walk from the train to the studio and I would smell the bakery.
Yep.
And it was actually a doable walk.
You can smell the bakery even better outside here.
Ooh, all right. Well, I'll make sure to take a big sniff when I leave.
Well, it'll be really good in a couple of weeks when it starts warming up around here.
Oh.
Once everything gets a little bit warmer, a hit of humidity, things just kind of waft and linger in the air a little bit more. The first thing every time I come out of here, it's either one of two things. It's either going to be something blueberry or onion.
Oh.
I can smell those onion bagels, and they're good.
What do they actually? We should pick up some stuff. What do they actually sell over there?
Near Ice?
Yeah,
it's incredible. It's
Is it just do they sell stuff there, or they're just making it and sending it out?
No, they got a store, but they have a store that you get. So I'll go there on a Sunday morning after church or something. I'll go there and I'll pick up a loaf of bread if we're having pasta that night or something. Have bread with our bread, and then but
that's so Italian.
Other than that, it has over the last 30 years, it's swollen into a gigantic national shipping operation.
Cool.
So that's a people get that bread all over the country.
Oh, wow.
And I was actually going to reach out to them to see, hey,
sponsor?
No, not a sponsor. I want to take a tour, like a Mr. Rogers kind of tour of the place.
Yes.
Are you going to show Frank, baby Frankie? Are you going to show him Mr. Rogers?
Oh, hell yeah. He's already watching old school, Sesame Street from the 80s and 90s.
There's so much old school out there. You don't have to show them anything modern until.
That's the plan.
I mean, it's seriously.
Yeah, it's all brain rot.
Whatever modern stuff that Aurora has watched, it's just slipped in when she's hung out with my mother.
Okay.
Other than that, there's so much. I mean, she knows all about the Ninja Turtles in 1987.
Ooh.
She's becoming a real media snob.
Cool.
It's great. But I want to go and tour that place. I want
to go too.
All right, whenever I get it together, I'll let you know.
We could do an I Love Lucy situation.
Yeah, wrapping the chocolates.
Yeah.
That would be good.
I'll just pop them in my mouth.
That's it.
I want to wear an apron. I want flour all over my face. We could pretend we're doing lines of flour.
Yeah. You remember when Tom Green went to the marshmallow shop or something like that, where they're making marshmallows, and he started?
No, but that does sound like something he would do.
Yeah, he started deep throating the marshmallow.
Oh my God, you're right. Frank literally played that clip for me just the other day.
Just making everybody feel uncomfortable. on the tour.
They're like, no, you can't do that. You can't do that.
I have to watch. That's just
Holy
something.
crap, that's so funny.
If you think about what's on, and I have to get around to all this other stuff, but if you see all the stuff that is popping up on Reels, what he paved the way for as far as pranks
He was
go,
the OG. He was the number one, the
it's
best.
incredible. It's incredible. Made us all very uncomfortable. We couldn't believe it. And I don't know. I just hope people know who they have to thank.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Cave
Should be
Toad.
a Tom Green Day.
One day. Have you ever spoken to Tom Green?
No. I would like to interview him, though.
That would be an amazing interview.
Yeah. He seems really cool.
My whole thing is I'd love to get people in here. I got to find things to ask them that they haven't been asked before. Yeah, that's the one thing.
You should definitely, it's a good conversation starter, showing the list of things people have had in their butt from the emergency room.
Yeah. I remember there's things with him that will always just stick in my brain. Like he was walking through the forest in one of these episodes. He saw a dead cat and he went to go pick up the dead cat by the tail, and all of the hair on the tail just slipped right off.
Whoa.
I was like, oh no. These are things that are like I must have been like 13 years old. I'll never forget stuff like that. Yeah. So he just having the balls to even touch that thing. Anyway, Cave Toad says, Chrissie, hook Frankie up with Adam Carolla. He'd be a great guest. Now we need a hookup for Dirty Jobs guy. Oh, Mike Rowe? Yeah.
Mike Rowe.
Frankie, are you talking about me? Or are you talking about her son?
He probably means you. I mean, my son is 1 year old. What use would he have for Adam Carolla?
I don't know, but I would really love to talk to Mike Rowe.
Mike Rowe? Do I know him?
Dirty Jobs.
Dirty Jobs. I don't know him. I don't even know anyone who knows
you do.
him.
No, but you know of him though.
I know. Yeah, I know of him.
Okay, that's what I mean. He's just. I love everything he does. Sean Joe, thank you. Crown Weaver says they split the penis and invert it to create a canal and create a new pee-pee hole when they use a small part of the penis as the clitoris.
I'm just envisioning like there's a place in Connecticut called Super Duper Weenie where they would split the hot dogs and then put relish or whatever. That's what I imagine when anyone says split the penis.
I do.
Again, should not tinker with God's design.
No, it doesn't compute.
You have one penis. Okay, why mess it up?
That's it. All right. So you want to talk about sensitivity?
Yes.
Okay, sensitivity training. This was I saw this on Zero Hedge today. Not funny. This DEI sensitivity training video is absolutely hilarious. It was authored by Steve Watson at modernity.news. Take a look at this. This is an actual harassment and sensitivity employee training used by some of the top Fortune 500 companies, says this. This was all shared over here on Twitter by BS1134202358. Let's take a look at this. I love this.
Oh, hey, great. Speedy Gonzalez! Slow your roll, man. Come talk with me.
Look, Ken, one last time. I don't find that funny. I'd appreciate if you'd stop calling me that.
You should find it funny.
Okay, man. Whatever you say. As soon as you find a sense of humor.
I'm with the guy standing up.
Remember back before all this PC stuff?
Yeah.
Back when we could just be ourselves?
Yeah.
Hey, Raymond, you old dog. Get any this weekend?
So for those of you in podcast land, the whole point...
That guy doesn't need to do a thing. He just needs to go back in time, work for Compound Media.
It all revolves around the antagonist, whose name is Ken, and he's completely insensitive to everybody. He was just talking to a... What was the issue with the guy in the motorized scooter right there?
I mean, what wasn't his issue?
It was because
maybe he had real bad spina bifida or something.
It looks like spina bifida, not dwarfism. It's not. Is it midget?
Maybe he had a normal looking head. Yeah, so it's not dwarfism.
High pitched voice though.
His hand looked really big. I don't know.
Look. Oh, here's another one for you. I think we're getting into gender territory. Ken is at it again.
Oh, Ken.
Look, Ken, this is really none of your business.
Is that a woman? Oh, no, that's a dude. That's a fucking dude. All right.
Hey, look, man. Or whatever. You're really kind of creeping everybody out. I'm just trying to get my head around why somebody would want to do this to themselves, Trying to understand. be sympathetic. But whatever. I check the stalls before you go to the bathroom.
I don't know if this is real. If it's real, it's hilarious. It's great writing, and it actually reminds me of the first couple of seasons of The Office.
Yeah.
But if it is real, then damn, I don't know. I mean, you're challenging people not to laugh. Here's another one. We already did this.
Okay, I get it. You know, though, obese people aren't a protected class, and surely you've noticed Ed in accounting is really packing on the pounds lately. He's going to need his own area code soon. Do you think we should tell him we're concerned about his weight? I mean, can't be healthy to be carrying all that around, can it?
No, it can't. But I wouldn't go and tell him that.
Yeah, isn't that funny? It's like you can't do drugs in the work bathroom, but like you could eat a Happy Meal. You could like eat a, I don't know. People like really like to tiptoe around fatness. They shouldn't, though.
I feel like the dam is breaking. I've seen a lot of this stuff really just break wide open, and the issue is what I would have suspected would happen is happening in the way that people have been. They've had these, I don't know, not so controversial at one point. There's a lot of suppression, repression. It's gotten to the point where now almost like somebody has gone from stop to go, and people are just exploding, and they're saying they're going like so far with whatever they can, and it's like everything that they had said was wrong with society 30 years ago, before things were really politically correct, is almost as if it is now manifesting in a self-fulfilling prophecy from people who are just so fed up of being so repressed in a linguistic sense for so long that they are actually going to those lengths that they had to merely project that imaginary those slurs and everything else from years ago that weren't happening.
They're pent up. That's why everyone's a little more racist now, a little more homophobic. It's just a pressure release valve.
Well, the racism thing, I understand what's going on there. First of all, everybody has prejudice and that goes beyond race. It's just your learned experiences. Right. If you have bad experiences with certain types of people, certain groups of people, then nobody has the right to come along and say, you're wrong, that didn't happen to you, and you have no reason to be guarded in the future.
Right.
But at the same time, what we have here is something other than just what is natural, that people just see as they go along. And most people years ago we were so close to being a post-racial society.
Mm-hmm. We were there.
It was as close as it's ever going to be. And then, of course, it got reversed to the point where now the last 15 to 20 years has been there is racism, and it is widely promoted by the left in this country, and it is protected. It is protected speech,
it's
promoted.
Incentivized. Being in a victim group and that's the only reason why it's lasted this long, is because it's been incentivized, and that's why like when you see it go up to like the corporate level, really at any level, it's like, well, why do this if you don't get something out of it, right? If you didn't get something out of being obese, if you didn't get something out of like your pronouns or whatever your weird sexuality is, bringing that into the workplace, if there was no benefit to doing it, people wouldn't do it. It's been incentivized too much.
Yeah. And on the other hand, the whole victimhood balance of things still needs an oppressor. And we know that they have really not minced any words with assigning who the oppressors are and all that stuff. And that's why I think that there's just a gigantic and really, abrasive overcorrection happening right now. Mm-hmm. And it's just everybody's blowing up and saying, fuck you, I'm not afraid to say this anymore. And I'm not, it's just...
Oh, I had a tweet. This was weeks ago. I was flying to Indiana. I did a gig in Fort Wayne, and it was like a connection flight. And I just I tweeted something. I tweet basically every 6 months when I'm on a flight. And it was a picture. I always do a cockpit check. And so on this flight, I looked in, I saw there was a black guy sitting there. I took a picture.
Did you say a cockpit or
cockpit? of a plane.
Okay. Please cockpick.
Cockpick. I always pick out my cocks. No, I looked into the cockpit of the plane. I see a black guy sitting there. I take a picture. I go, well, if I don't make it to Indiana, this is why, or something like that. Like I just wrote something about like this is a DEI pilot. And 3 weeks later, I'm still getting shitty comments. Not so much on Twitter, but on Instagram, which is a lower IQ app. That's where people like to go.
Instagram has become so backwash, so backwater. I mean,
really is.
Then again, it really is all based on, how you're building up your algorithm. That old comment.
This is people going out of their way to find me on Instagram, to leave shitty comments on my like birth announcement post, that sort of thing. Like it'll be like, oh, congrats, you blanking, white supremacists, like all the worst things. It's like, what? This is because you can't take a joke. You have to come find my Instagram and post shitty comments on my like show promotion photo. Like, it's not even like I posted the same tweet. You know how people they'll tweet something and then you'll post a photo of it on your Instagram. I didn't even do that. Like, I just didn't care that much to do that. But these people, like, it's similar to what happened to me when I upset Malaysia.
I remember that.
Ago.
Yes, I remember when you go into war with Malaysia.
Like I'll ever.
I wonder how Malaysia is doing right now with all the tariffs.
I wonder that too.
Yeah, if that was another place where China could have one of those end arounds, there, it's really interesting what's going on out there. And but to your point about Instagram, every once in a while, if Lauren and I don't have if we don't have enough time to watch an episode of something before we go to bed or before she goes to bed, and let's say we only have like 25 minutes left before she's got no energy left, I'll just cast to the television. We'll watch reels, and it's crazy the difference between what comes up on her.
Oh yeah, the algorithms.
The algorithm is insane. It really reflects the person, because she's absolutely appalled at what comes up for me too. But what are the differences in your algorithms? Oh my gosh, she has nothing Hitler related. That's
she's really missing out.
She's missing out. All the best stuff on Instagram is all the Hitler stuff. Yeah, I'm telling you. Oh, so. All the private chats that people are probably sending each other, the reels to are just insane. But I think she gets a little bit of a glimpse into my world when we sit there and do the reels. And I actually can't believe what people get away with on Instagram. I sit back and I muse and I twist my whiskers, and I like seeing what's going on there. But you would expect some of the stuff to be on E-Bomb's world and shit.
Yeah. Oh, like the
back in the day,
breastfeeding. I guess.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that. I don't even look at that. It's like, look, you hire a lactation consultant. You do it the right way. You don't just search on Instagram.
I know.
A lot of those gals are just trying to get away with nudity too.
Oh well, that's the other thing there too. I've had to, and I have to go out of my way to see less of this, see less of this.
Oh yeah, like actually click no thanks.
You got to. It's just every other reel is an ass.
Yeah, it's too much. And I've had to unfollow a lot of people on Twitter that just like post porn, and I would have a lot of like porn people on my old show on Compound Media, and like so I do follow a bunch. But then when I'm scrolling through and I see it, like I have to unfollow them because I'm like it's not worth it to me because occasionally during my show, like my Twitter will come up on the screen and maybe it'll scroll. I'm like, so I got to not do that. But I'm in case I'm looking at my phone, like my stepson's, what I mean? Like I'm just like done. I'm just like, not that I ever really was someone who would watch porn. Like it's the last thing I think of if I'm in the mood.
Well, see, that's what I was wondering about. And I know that you've been on a pretty incredibly transformative personal journey over the last however many years. I think a lot of people are. And I know that adult entertainment has been a part of your programming for a while, interviewing people in the industry, going to conventions every once in a while. How's that changing for you now that with motherhood and everything else? And
as soon as Compound was sold to censored TV and that show stopped, I was like, it's kind of was the end of an era. It was the end of that show. There was no way I was going to keep that going. It's just like that's the kind of show where like the fans would come in and there'd be an in-studio audience and there, it's just, it was kooky. And like, yeah, now that I'm like married with a kid, it's just, I was interested in it for a time because I found a sort of kinship between like those in the adult industry and comedians. I thought they were both similarly like kind of society's weirdos and outcasts and like could never really make it in a real like 9 to 5.
I can see that. I can see it.
Not that I was ever like a porn aficionado, but I guess I had empathy for them because a lot of folks would treat them like they're not people. And, you go to these conventions and you see these, like these just gnarly dudes trying to like interview these women. Like, oh, I have a podcast just to interview, just to get close to these women, and not that I would talk to them to try to like turn them or something, but, sometimes I would get into conversations with people where like, I forget this one girl, she did OnlyFans and she was a lawyer. She's done Simcast a few times. She's also been on like the Whatever podcast. She's got a huge rack, but there was a conversation I had with her that I'll never forget. And she basically said that she spends so much time on her OnlyFans messaging back people, like all of her good like hours, like all of her banter is really spent on that she has no time to like meet a guy. And I just was like, wow. And she's like this beautiful girl. And like, just the revelation. I don't think she made the revelation, but like me listening to her was like, oh, this is why you can't find a man. Like you're spending all your personality points on just whoever's in your DM box. And it was like really sad. And I felt sad for this girl, even though she's probably making a ton of money and she didn't seem unhappy or anything. But maybe there is a part of me that likes talking to these girls. Like if there is a nugget of somebody that maybe wants to get out of the industry, like I like to like see if, I don't know, I can help these people.
Have you been able to be a part of a turnaround story?
There is one girl now that I talk to and like she'll come on Simcast sometimes, who I feel like I hear in her voice that she wants to get out of the industry. Like not like that's an easy task at all, but I guess I'm starting to like be interested in, I know this sounds like egotistical, like not in saving people, but helping people find their way if they are like lost and needing maybe guidance or.
There's going to be a lot of young women that are going to hit a wall of existential dread sooner or later when they realize the permanence of that line of work. Even if it's just OnlyFans and you're not doing like that chick in the UK that was banging 1,000 guys in a day.
Oh, Lily Phillips and Bonnie Blue.
Yeah, whatever the hell it was.
That's crazy.
Oh yeah, I mean, and I saw.
Have to I mean, these women said that they had to disassociate. Like you have to literally check out.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Even if you weren't spending most of your day expending all those personality points, like you were saying in direct messages, talking to all of your Johns, then it's let's say you didn't spend any of that time. It's still like a really it's an indelible mark for a lot of guys that are just going to say once they find out. I mean that's going to be a non-starter for most of them. So yet how many dudes will patron an OnlyFans girl? Like how many dudes will like watch that kind of content online? It's like hypocritical almost. Like, oh, I would never date a girl who ever did it, but like most guys are looking at porn every day in some form or another. Yeah, we're pigs. I mean, but that's the whole thing, and this is where feminism really fucked a lot of women up. Is that one of the greatest driving factors of feminism, especially from a sexual liberation standpoint, was you're pigs too. Mm-hmm. Women actually used to be our guardrails. These used to be our guardrails where
guard the virginity.
Oh, we want to spread our seed over here, and that used to be our guardrails. And the sexual liberation thing really convinced however many generations as possible. Oh, you're just as much of a dog as they are.
Yeah.
Let it go, and be as bad as they are. Like this is the whole thing. That's not one of our our shining quality. That's like
Yeah.
This is something that we need strong men of virtue to tell us how to behave as well. And
men and women need to check each other in certain ways, and like, yeah, if men have more of a tendency to become degenerates, then yeah, it is up to women to kind of like hold the line there on certain things.
And at one point there was a balance, you hope that a young boy is able to be given an education on what it is to be a virtuous man. And then you have young women who are also going to hold their own in that kind of like modesty standpoint. And perhaps, we just check, because these are forces of nature that are so fucking, things that people date, they have premarital sex, whatever. But compared to what we're talking about right now, the transactional nature of it now, that the economic forces that are tied to it, this is not even just, it's crazy.
And you know why it really took off with women? Because it was promoted as a way to safeguard your heart, like if you've been heartbroken, or if you're afraid of a guy leaving you, hey, like just kind of be a slut, that way you don't really attach to anybody, and you can pretend you're Samantha from Six in the City, it's like, oh, none of it really matters because you're not really letting yourself get close to anybody.
Right. But let's go with that, because whereas there's a lot of people who are realizing, and I myself included, I always put that out there too, about hookup culture and what we grew up in and all that. Put your life, that marriage, settling down, that could wait. Oh my gosh, your 20s, it's too young. You gotta see the world like everybody's packing their bags.
Like we had to spend our best years like single. I would say get married as soon as possible. Spend your best years with your person.
Nobody told us that though.
Yeah. No one told us that. It was always seen as like a last resort. My parents were not happy together. I was afraid of marriage for longer than I wish I had. You know what I mean? I wish I kind of woke up from that years earlier, but it's kind of like the sting of a parent's bad marriage kind of lingered over me, and it just took a while for me to realize, like, oh yeah, like your husband is not your dad, duh, obviously. And but it was always like, oh, the message we got, I guess it's just from the boomers, right? Because they're over medicated and they didn't go to therapy, and they're not really examining their lives too closely, it seems. I don't know. I like to blame the boomers for just about everything wrong with the world, but the message was like, oh yeah, play the field, don't settle, right? My mom would say jokingly to me, like when I was like maybe a teenager or 20s, like, oh, it's just as easy to fall in love with a rich guy as it is, not a rich guy, because my dad was a landscaper, and like they would always fight about money. So, and like, but what that gave me growing up was not like, oh, I need to find a good provider. It gave me this complex of like, you better not cost anybody any money, because that's the worst.
There's a lot that have gone against us. There's a lot that went against us, and obviously nature always works its way out. And right now, people are starting to wonder, because everything that we've encountered, how we've gone awry, at least in that way culturally, it hasn't been a long time, because the education has been a part of it. The counterculture movements of the 60s and 70s, we're talking. I mean, we're talking 50, 60 years ago.
Long, right?
It's not that long ago. Mass communication, television, things like that, the internet, the way that you can astroturf a way of thinking or a movement into being. This is all very, very new compared to our thousands of years of human history, or however long people tend to go back. So I don't tend to think that this is the end. I just think that we've definitely gone into the ditch along the side of the road. We got to find a way to crane ourselves out of it. Now, as far as corrective measure goes, that now you have people who are just seeing things for what it was. Say, I think we've been sold a bad bill of goods, and are starting to rethink things. And then there's things like trad wife stuff, and I know you've gotten into it with some trad wife chicks out there. How far is too far for you? Like what do you think is ridiculous about the so-called trending value of trad wifery?
There's so much to unpack, and I think again about like the boomer generation. why was working and feminism attracted to them? Well, you have a 9 to 5. It was seen as a way to kind of avoid like familial responsibility in a way. It's like, oh, well, you're not expected to clean your house because you're not home all day. And I think it was seen as a way to like ignore your husband, like get away, like kind of get away from it all. Like you're at your job all day, so no one's really expecting you to like cook and clean very much. And it was like seen as a way to escape a bad relationship, I think. But now we're learning it's like, you're not escaping those responsibilities. You're just kind of like passing the buck, and like your sort of your childcare is now, you're now putting your kids in the hands of the state or whatever school your kids are at or daycare. It's like somebody's got to raise your kids, and now we see what the result is when the people raising your kids are not you, or not the mom primarily. And it's just, again, it's like the pendulum swinging back, and there's all types. Like, I mean, the true trad wife or trad mom, she's not online at all. Right. She's not an online presence. She's not doing any kind of influencing. She doesn't have Amazon brand deals. Like, she's just simply like doing it. Like, it's amazing how much taking care of a kid is a full-time job. And I just never believed it. And then you have a kid and you're like, oh God, the hours pass away so quickly. Just doing the simplest of things, like making food, cleaning up the food, like changing the diaper, getting them to nap twice a day. It's like, okay, we haven't sleep trained, so this is a contact napper. I have to hold him while he naps twice a day. Time to eat again, right? I had to clean him off, I'm cleaning. I feel like I'm cleaning this kid's tray like 47 times a day.
Yeah.
And you're just wiping his mouth off, changing his diaper, and you're like, whoop, it's dinner time. You're like, what the? I didn't even get done any of my work shit I was supposed to do. But where was I going with this? It's interesting.
It's the people who are just doing it off camera, you're saying.
Yeah. And the ones that are, I guess, there are some kind of like trad mom influencer types that I actually like following. Like this one girl's called Health Nut Nutrition. I think she's Canadian. And she'll put her kids on camera because she's talking about like it's parenting tips. And I like following her. She's not somebody who's like, oh, look at my kids. People are very split on whether or not like your kids should be on camera. But I think if it's part of like you're doing parenting tips, then it's cute to see the kids on camera. And then you have someone like Ballerina Farm, who was like a Juilliard ballerina. She married into like a really wealthy family and like has 8 kids. And she's cool to watch too, because she gave birth in like a bathtub. One of her kids, like she just kind of like tooted it out by herself in a bed. Not by herself, but she's in a bathtub. And I was like, that's so cool.
Yeah, they hold their breath until they're out of there.
How cool to like not need to go to a hospital to give birth. And some people like love to hate her, but she's like working her friggin' ass off. She's always like making something, cooking something. There's always like 3 kids hanging off her. And she's just like patient and like
I guess that people are not didactic about things. Like I can
now you gotta make me Google this word.
Well, people can be preachy, whereas other people are just really in the almost like documenting life, almost like journaling.
Right.
I can get behind people who present themselves in a journally kind of way.
I thought I could do that, and then I was like, oh my God, like I made it through 2 weeks of the baby's life, and I was like, I don't have time to do these blogs anymore. Like I would need to like not stream, not do anything else, like literally just be a mom and then do your baby blogging. It really, you need so much time.
Listen to this. Lauren just texted me.
Ooh.
And she said that there was a big deal about Ballerina Farm recently. People were saying that she's trapped and being forced to make it seem like she loves her life.
I've heard that too.
Trapped in what way?
Like she would rather be, I guess, being a ballerina. Like, I don't know. But she married this guy, right? Lauren probably knows more about it than I do. But I did hear this rumor that she like is somehow trapped and not happy. But I'm like, she's freaking loaded. I'm sure she's doing just fine.
Lauren, every once in a while, she tells me these inside stories on certain people that go into like real dark places, and I don't even know who this ballerina person is. But you know what we should do? We should open up open up the lines.
Yes,
we got 25 minutes left. Let's do it. Okay, so anything that we're talking about tonight is on tap. go ahead. 914-200-0269. 914-200-0269. Give us a call. You can comment on what we're talking about here. If you have any cringy sensitivity training stories, you can call in. Anything. Let's see. She says that there's some kind of that people claim to have seen through her posts. Everybody's always seeing through posts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Dean, you're on the air with Chrissie. What's going on?
Hey, Frankie, Chrissie, what's up? So first of all, I just want to say the only place I put my OnlyFans money is behind Frankie Val.
Thank you.
Over here, and Dilly, the only two content creators I contribute to. But you know this is a great conversation. I think it's one that needs to be had over and over. You know, yeah, I mean, you guys touched on it. It's like, what more important job can a woman possibly have than raising her children?
For real.
Chrissie, you know, it's a full-time job.
If you're doing it right. Yeah. If you're doing it right, you have no time.
I've got 3 of my own.
Yeah.
You know, it's a full-time job. And you know what makes a man feel good about the work he did all day long, breaking his back? I drive a garbage truck. I've been slinging around garbage cans for 26 years.
Yeah, like a real man.
What makes a man feel good is getting home and knowing that his wife is at home raising his children.
Aww.
You know, it makes you feel complete. It makes you feel like it was all worth it.
That's
you know, and having one of those wives that are one of those career people, you know, it's more important for her to go to a job or to have some executive position or it's more important for her to be accepted somewhere else than at home as a mother and as a wife. That's kind of degrading to a man.
And I think a lot of these women who think that's what they want, I just really think they're victims of propaganda and feminism and like their social circle, what the messages they've been getting, you know, what messages maybe they were getting from their mom growing up. Cause like once I pushed the baby out, I was like, oh, this is the most important thing I'll ever do. And just like instantly, you're like, oh,
you went through the pain.
You're just instantly like, oh God, like I could never tell another joke on stage for as long as I live, and I would feel 100% fulfilled. Like it's just like a switch.
Thank you, Dean. There's another something there too. Is there's propaganda, and then there's also the screws that have been put to us. We've been talking a lot about trade wars and tariffs this last week or so now, and it's part of the big picture that has actually forced a lot of people out of the home and into separate jobs to make sure that they can make ends meet. You know, so it's become, it's been part of the culture, part of conditioning people to break away from what our natural inclinations are, and what is a winning formula for a healthy family that has survived millennia. But then there's also the economic standpoint. I'm sure that there are plenty of women in this audience that would love to be able to double back and really invest a lot more time in making the home, and that aren't, you know, that have a career but it wouldn't consider themselves career people, but just know that everybody's got to bring home the bread or else.
And there's so much fear too. Like I think the reason why a lot of women like work and won't give up their jobs is like, you have to plan for the worst case scenario. You have to be like, well, can I support myself? Like, it's so sad. Like women are actually afraid to rely on a man. They think that they're going to get divorced or left or whatever. And they just think, well, let me plan for the worst case scenario. It's like, I think it's really scary for some women to just give up that job and be like, okay, now I have no income. I'm like, you know, it's almost like you have no safety net. And it's sad because like your safety net is your husband. Like you guys work together. It's just I guess people, I think it's God being kind of out of the marriage, which is probably the biggest problem.
It's very hard. It's very hard to be able to allow yourself to really give yourself over to that way of thinking when you're raised on fighting patriarchy, and there's no greater patriarchal figure in our consciousness than God, you know, and that's just really, I mean, it's the basis of of so much. And yeah. All right, let's just take a couple more calls. Let's see. 910, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, Frank.
Hey, who's this?
This is Brian from North Carolina.
Hey, Brian, welcome back to the show. You're on with Chrissie.
Chrissie, you got the same last name as me. Well, it sounds the same, only it's spelled different.
Cool.
All right, Brian, you got to turn off the stream in the back.
Okay, I'm going to shut it off, but I'm going to need a couple minutes because I'm going to tell you a few things. Because when I told you, Frank, about my cocaine politician story, you weren't so impressed, or you really didn't, let me explain to you what I've done and who I am.
Impressed.
If you give me a couple minutes. No, check it out. All right, you guys were talking about movie stars and different things.
Yeah.
Well, back in 1978, when I was in the Marine Corps, I ran into a guy named Fred who worked for this TV show, Barnaby Jones.
Mm-hmm.
He was to help me find my long-lost grandfather who was supposedly murdered, which took my mother out of the will. But anyway, that's another story. And as we were driving around Palm Springs, he took me to Liberace's house, but Liberace wasn't there. He took me to Rock Hudson's house, and I physically, myself, saw Rock Hudson in his backyard in a pink girly robe with furry collar, walking his two poodles. And this was way before the general public knew that he was gay.
So you knew before everybody else. You knew.
You outed Liberace.
No, this is Rock Hudson.
Oh.
No, that was Rock Hudson. Anyway, John Wayne's daughter's house he took me to, and he invited me to a party that Friday night, but he warned me. He said, listen, we have one of you guys, off of your base, 29 Palms, California. We have one of you guys in X-rated movies. And if you come over to John Wayne's daughter's house and you're at a party, somebody might want to have sex with you, and you go in the room and have sex with them. This is all the kinky, weirdo stuff that you're hearing about Jeffrey Epstein and P. Diddy. I witnessed it back then. Anyway, then I moved to Florida years later, and I was working at a country club for a party. I was a male dancer. I told you about that, Frank.
No, you didn't.
And
Brian,
I was working as a waitress in a cocktail bar.
Anyway, long story short, Abe Hirschfeld, the billionaire parking lot king of New York City, hit on me and asked me to go back to his apartment with him while his wife was in Israel. And I was like, nah.
And of course you did
your
it.
teeth are so... What?
And of course you did it.
No, his teeth were so green. When he was talking down to me, I looked up at him like he was the devil incarnate. I was not interested. Then, in the 80s, I was invited to an X-rated film in the Ponderosa, but I told them, well, I don't think it's a good... Ponderosa is in Indiana. It's a nude ranch. And they said, oh, we'd love to have you come for the weekend. And...
Brian, hold on.
Is there a point
Brian,
to any of this?
Yeah, what's the point? Hold on, because what's
I'm just letting you know all of the things that I was accidentally involved with, not even trying. Calvin Klein's house at Fire Island, my friend and him.
You should have a podcast where you can talk about these things.
This almost like you could put like blind items together for Crazy Days and Nights.
My point is, when you said to me that my story that I told you about what happened to me seeing a politician involved with selling drugs, you said, wow, that sounds like a story. I'm just trying to let you know all of the things that happened to me throughout my life.
Brian. What happened was when you got in touch with me and you said that you had a story like that. I said that when we have open lines, you should call in with whatever on open lines. Now you said definitely will. Tonight we had a very specific couple of topics that we were doing, which is why I thought this was leading to something that was relevant to what me and Chrissie were talking
Does
about.
everything have to have a point, Frank?
Oh, I don't know.
Can't we just hear rambling stories?
No, you originally at one point in your stream said any crazy stories. You did say that.
You made it sound like you were accepting any crazy story.
Well, I was definitely going to do crazy stories on Saturday night. Then we're going to do crazy story hotline on Saturday night. But I mean, we already got a Rock Hudson story. We got a Liberace story. Why were you invited to so many gay things?
He was a dancer.
That's the thing. The guy that was taking me around was gay, and he was trying to entice me, and I was like, no, ain't happening, dude. But that's not the point of my story.
Okay.
The point of my story is I'm just letting you know all the things that led up to the story where I ended up finding out about this politician with the drugs. That's all. And it's not a big deal. If you got another time you want to talk, let me know.
Oh, no, listen. Whenever it's open lines, you call in with your best story of the night and spread them out so we can spread them out. Spread them out so we can get some of these stories.
It's not the first time he's been asked that, Frank.
I know. He's just in 1987 alone. But Brian, call in with like your best story of the night whenever you call in, so we can get these stories told over the course of months and years. Okay. I felt
compelled to tell you some of this stuff because
it's very compelling.
You two seem like you were having fun, and some of the stuff that you guys were talking about was pretty risque. So I said, you know what? Maybe this is the night that I tell him I did something that probably no other man on earth did, or very few.
Well, yeah, we're here. Well, thank you, Brian, for the call. And yes, the kind of access you got alone is call in again, please, soon. The kind of access you got alone is something that is pretty exclusive, no doubt about it. But the what he was talking about with what did he say? Well, I was a dancer. I don't know. He emailed. And I said, yeah, we call in anytime there's an open lines night. Mm-hmm. I didn't say that I'm not really, I'm not impressed with your cocaine usage, sir.
He could write a book. Yeah.
He should. That's a good coffee table book. All right. Well, this is probably the best time to bring this guy on. King, you're on the air. Go ahead. Oh, you're on with Chrissie.
Hey, Chrissie, how you doing?
How you doing? I'm doing good.
That is good. Hey, I want to say, Chrissie, first of all, and I know you're a married woman, so I ain't trying to hit on you, but you're very cute. And I can count on one hand chicks that can make me laugh, and you are one of them fingers on that hand.
Oh, and who knows where those fingers have been. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, not many people know. But I got to tell you, though, as much as I like you, I do have a couple issues with you.
Uh-oh, let's hear them.
No. Nothing to get nervous about, all right? But number one is you're on a podcast, all right? Be a little more professional and stop picking up your phone like a colored.
Like a colored?
Yeah.
Okay, couple of things. I have a baby at home, so I am checking to see if he's alive and things like that.
Yeah.
And I also am really intensely focused on the chat because
yeah, she's also reading the chat room.
I'm reading the chat. I'm not just
thanks a lot for ruining the joke, Chrissie.
Oh, this was gonna be a joke? Wait, okay, let's hear the joke. Let's pretend I didn't say those things.
Keep going.
And the other thing is, right, when you was on Compound Media, right, and you brought in that big, fat, tarantula-headed whatever, you realize how much danger you put Anthony Cumia and that whole studio in by doing that?
What are you talking about?
Who? What are you talking about?
Tarantula-headed.
No, that big, fat, tarantula-headed...
Who's that?
The so-called comedian.
Who?
I don't know his name. He's a colored guy. Well, you brought a colored into Compound Media in front of Anthony Cumia. You realize how much danger you put him and that whole studio in by doing that?
I don't know what you're talking about.
We're going to have to go back into the archives.
Is this supposed to be a joke? Yeah, we'll have to.
Wait a minute. Hold on. David Lucas.
That was actually a guest of Cumia's show. He was on the
You brought him in there, didn't you?
No, he was on the Anthony Cumia show, and I was just a guest as well on that show.
Oh.
Well, does Cumia realize how much danger he put himself in by doing that?
I don't know. He's on Kill Tony. He tours around. I guess he's kind of was a good guest to have.
And he's very unfunny.
Some people think that about him. Yeah. I've heard that take.
We can pass it along.
Pass it along. We'll pass it along to HR.
But on the flip side, you are very funny.
Thank you.
I'm just giving you a hard time. I don't mean nothing by it. Don't take it a different way.
Look, if I was going to bring a colored into Compound Meat, I would make sure they would be very funny, okay?
That's the
I
bar.
love this chick.
That's the bar right there. Are they funny? Well, Santino.
Chrissie, go ahead, Frankie.
No. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna. I was just gonna say, you guys have a good night. That's all.
Oh, all right.
You guys have a good night.
You too, my friend.
All right.
All right. There you go. There's King 40. Thankfully he didn't hear the call.
Seems like a cool guy to have a beer with.
He is actually.
Yeah.
I had a beer with him last time I had a beer with him was on St. Patrick's Day last year.
Oh, you've met him.
Yes.
Oh,
I met him back in 2008. I have a picture of the first time we all got together. It was at the Hard Rock in Times Square. All right, let's keep going. 630. What's going on? Wendy, how are you?
Good, Frank. How are you?
Well, I'm well. Good to have you on. Go ahead.
I'm going to try to stay on topic. I know you like that.
Yeah, well, tonight would help.
So you guys are talking about boomers. I'm a boomer. I'm really tired of being maligned, I tell you.
You're one of the good
really
ones.
Undeserved. Very undeserved. But I do understand that there's a lot of losers in my generation. But we've been married 44 years. I did get married young, and I did stay home with our children. We have 5 of them. And I'm not sure how I would have raised them the way I did without staying home. So that's just
wow. Good for
those
you.
Are my thoughts. People say, "Oh, we can't afford it," and that I don't buy. That's bullshit. I don't buy that.
Yeah, thank you for saying that.
If you want to stay home with your children, you can make sacrifices. There's lots of ways you can rein in the finances and still save a little bit of money. I mean, we started off literally in the ghetto in Houston, in a tiny little roach-infested apartment in the worst part of town. I worked 2 jobs. We had 1 car. So it can be done, but you have to want it. And I will say, looking back, I had a couple of kids that were problematic, and had I not been around to really kind of monitor them and make sure that I saw all the little nuances, I'm not sure they would have turned out the way they did.
Wow.
So,
did you homeschool any of them, or did they go to public school?
No, that wasn't really a thing at that time. I kind of wish that I had. And if I had to do it over again, I would homeschool my children. There's no question. I don't think the schools right now are good for children. And I also think, I actually just wrote an article for American Thinker on cell phones and kids.
Wow.
And Jonathan Haidt has done a lot of research on that subject. And I don't need the research. I mean, I can just see it in children. There's so much pressure on social media and the internet. And even though I kind of went through every iteration of a computer, from the computer to, no phones to having cell phones, my kids didn't get cell phones till high school. But even then, they weren't really, they knew that they would be taken away if they abused the privilege, and they were a privilege.
Yep.
And I also didn't track my children, because I think that when you track your children, when you use those tracking things, first of all, I don't know how we all survived without it. Okay. We did. We survived. And I think when you use those tracking programs on your children, it's like staking a tree. When you stake a tree, it doesn't grow roots, the right root system. And so when you're tracking a child, the phone does the work for them. It's accountable for them. And so instead of having the lie or, them, getting home on time or not, or having to have that conversation. Where were you? And then they lie to you or whatever. And then, they have that twang of conscience and guilt and shame, which I think is good for children. Then it kind of makes them lazy about their character. So there's just a lot of details about being a good parent that when you stay at home, you have the time and the space to do it.
Yeah.
And your attention isn't divided. And as it is, it's very hard to pay attention to your spouse.
Yep.
And I probably wasn't very good at that. I am working on that in my older years. I actually am reading a series by Timothy Keller. It's an amazing series on marriage. It really is one of the best books I've read on marriage.
What's it called?
And it's faith-based. I'm not a very traditionally religious person, but I do believe in the concept, the Bible and the concepts of the Bible, and that there's something higher than me out there.
What's the name of the book?
Those are my brief thoughts. And,
Wendy,
I hope that women do choose to stay home, because I think it's important.
Wendy, what is the name of the book?
It's by Timothy Keller. There's also a daily meditations for spouses that you can have, but the series it's called The Meaning of Marriage.
Ooh.
And there's also a podcast. He actually died in 2020, I think, which is really a loss. But he has a whole series on marriage, and I think it's called The Meaning of Marriage. I can text it to you, Frank.
Okay.
But it's really, both Bob and I are listening to it, and he's getting a lot out of it too. And it just talks about how marriage really is a profound friendship.
Yeah.
And it talks about, one of the funniest things is when he blesses people when they're being married, because he's a minister. He talks about how vows used to be different for the man and the woman, and there are reasons for that. And he also talks about all the kind of gushy, crappy stuff that people say to each other. I mean, it's just really, it's very deep, and it's based on the Bible, but it's still so practical, and he's got a great sense of humor, which I always like.
Well, that's great.
That sounds great.
I highly recommend it.
Well, text it to me or something, and I will. I'll share it on the Telegram, and I'll put it in the show notes or whatever. And I appreciate the call, Wendy.
Yep. Thanks a lot, Frank.
Thanks, Wendy.
Wendy's a fantastic journalist.
I like Wendy.
She's a great journalist.
She sounds smart as heck.
She is.
And a stay-at-home mom. Very cool.
She's
one of the good boomers.
I know. Yeah, she's one of the good. She's credit to her generation. Lauren and I last May, we got married in the church. We got married in 2017, but then we got married in the Catholic Church in last May. Essentially an interfaith marriage. She's non-denominational Christian, but this is something I wanted, and she was happy to do it with me. And one of the great things about this was that we got to sit down every week for a few months to prepare for this with a good friend of the family, Father Pat Angelucci. And we took these compatibility tests to start off. And it's all different types of questions about how I see our relationship and how I perceive things and family dynamics and everything else, whatever. It gets into even some, little, intimate areas there too, but family planning and future, whatever. And she's doing the same thing. So we're all asking the same questions. It comes out to like maybe 7 or 8 pages worth of diagnostics on how we align on things. And it comes up with 7 or 8 pages of really great conversation starter. And those months of, our standing Tuesday afternoon meeting with Father Pat were so awesome. We loved it because I almost felt like we like met each other all over again.
Mm-hmm.
And, but in a completely different way. And it was just great to see all of the alignments and things that we were surprised that we were on slightly different pages of. All of a sudden there was opportunities to, explain talk a little bit more deeply about something, and it was fantastic. And that's why I saw where even when you're talking about people getting into, going and taking the plunge and getting married, starting families and all that, there was a lot more that went into the courting phase.
Yeah.
That is just gone now. There's a lot more that went into the courting. That's just that's gone. In fact, have you even seen some of the biochem? We have to start wrapping up a little bit. We could have done another 3 hours of calls.
Yeah, get that guy back on the phone.
Yeah, Brian. I want more cocaine stories. No, I'm sure that we're going to get a lot more awesome stories out of him. But have you seen even this topic has come up all over the place, and I can't wait to dive into it myself one night. But there is even like biochemical. Everybody's selling a pheromone or something like that, but there's like biochemical studies out there about what may change in human attraction based on whether or not a woman is on birth control.
Yes,
versus
vabbing is a thing now.
What do you mean?
It's where you like put your fingers in your chooch and then wipe it on your neck. That's called vabbing. It's supposed to be like you're wafting your scent out.
For real?
People are doing this.
Oh man, there's something about that just made me sick to my stomach.
I know. Ugh.
I don't know.
And back in my day, we used Bath and Body Works cucumber melon.
I know. Cucumber. Now it's all vabbing. Jeez. I mean, there's just so much. What do we do? I mean,
I don't know.
Well, listen, I don't know what your touring schedule is like, but you got to come back like
yes,
me.
I have dates. I have dates galore,
Tell everybody.
Frank.
Tell everybody.
My gosh, we just booked some of these today, so I'm very excited to say. May 17th, I'll be in Mount Kisco. That's in Westchester, New York, here at a place called Jazz on Main. August 8th and 9th, I'll be at the Brokerage in Belmore, Long Island. September 18th, Plano, Texas. October 18th, Massillon, Ohio. October 23rd, San Diego. November 1st, I'll be in Phoenix. So we got
Baby Frankie is going to have already seen more of the country than I have.
I mean, I haven't taken him on any. He hasn't been on a plane yet. I haven't taken him to any gigs.
Well, obviously he's going to have to go there.
He may have to go on a couple of these, but
absolutely.
Yeah.
I would never. I
don't think I don't know. Could I take him alone on a road gig? I don't know. I would just need somebody to watch him while I'm on stage.
Well, if Mommy's going to be in Long Island for the night, I could see that. But
Long
Plano,
Island, I would drive back for her. Yeah.
But Plano and San Diego, I hated being away
There's
for Aurora.
zoos. I could take him to the different zoos. I love a zoo. Like if I got an extra day in a city, I'm going to a zoo.
San Diego Zoo is world famous.
Mm-hmm.
I've never been there.
Oh, you must go. It's really great. I've been. I would go back.
Yeah. Well, that's great. So you have a lot coming up, and I'm sure people can go and read it all on ChrissieMayr.com.
Mm-hmm.
That's where they can buy tickets to.
And of course, as always, like if you have a venue in your city or town that you like, tweet at them, tweet at me. I'm always looking to add more dates.
Fantastic. Oh, we have a, let me see. Do we have any, we're good with the Rumble rants. Let me make sure that we had everybody else spoken for. Quite frankly, superchat.com is good. And, No Stud All Muffins says, an incredible show, Frank and Chrissy. Thank you both so much. And let's see here. Cave Toad says, people need to learn to refuse, defeat, and prove all those who doubt them wrong.
Oh, shit. I never paid for parking.
And,
Whoops.
Oh, we'll see what happens.
It's all right.
I've been dinged with tickets many times. I'll pay for it if you are dinged.
Stop it. No,
I'll pay if you're dinged. And finding God helps. Be humble, but persist. Rebuke those who try to bring you down in life. Let them grow. Let them go and grow. I had something that I thought would have been great if we had some overtime, but we don't. Maybe next time we come on, I would love to revisit this topic right here.
Yes.
Why sexual morality may be far more important than you ever thought. This is an incredible study that was done by somebody who is not religious.
Ooh.
And what he discovered was incredible, but the timeline it put us on to seeing the collapse of a society based on where they are lines up to where we are right now.
With Bonnie Blue and the conveyor belt of dick.
Oh yeah,
that we see.
Have you ever heard that breakdown?
What?
You said conveyor belt of dick. It reminded me of that 7 7 miles of dick 4chan.
Oh, no,
breakdown.
I just like said it. I didn't know it was a thing.
Hold on a second. Wait. Is this it? Hold on, wait a
It's
second.
actually a Fleetwood Mac song.
10 miles of dick. You want to hear this?
Yes. Wait, it's a song?
My drunk ass girlfriend. Oh, this is not 4chan, actually. I don't know where the hell this was from, but this was a couple of years ago.
Total like body count or something?
Yeah, but this is like where schizo math really...
Dick math.
Oh, it's schizo dick math. Listen to this. My drunk ass girlfriend said she had sex with over 200 guys. She said that she was a real slut back in college. Made me stop and think. 4 years of college times 365 days a year. Okay? 200 guys equals a new guy every 7.3 days. Since she said 200, we'll round it off at a new guy every 7 days.
Wow.
Given that she had sex with a guy on average of 3 times and an average of dick length of 5.5 inches and about 100 thrusts to come.
Okay, that's considering like that's saying there's no Asians involved here.
Right. Well, he's going with averages.
Okay.
And also remember, if anybody admitted to 200, it's probably 250.
Oof.
100 thrusts times 3 times per guy times 11 inches. That's 5.5 inches and 5.5 inches, inches in and 5 inches out. So he's saying 5.5, 11 inches.
It's a game of inches, people.
Right. Go 5 in and then 5. So there's 11. Okay. That's 3,300 inches of dick per week.
This person has autism.
Yeah. 3,300 inches of dick times 208 weeks. That is 660,000 inches of dick, which is 10.45 miles of dick. I then got in my car. I drove 10.45 miles and thought about dicks being laid end to end. And that's how
It's more than 5K.
only a guy would do this math.
Wow.
To think about driving almost 11 miles and imagining dicks being laid end to end along the way that you're driving. That's how much she has taken. She isn't my girlfriend anymore. It's a famous post.
Wow.
It's an amazing
that's
math.
Funny.
It's great math.
Dick math.
Yeah.
He's a dick mathematician.
Yes.
Yeah. What about the girth? They're asking. Are there chodes here?
Whatever. Like I said, the average. But with that, Chrissie, this has been wonderful. There's certain guests that come into the studio that I'm able to take my hair down like this. You're one of them.
Oh, good. Oh, wow. What a compliment.
So thank you so much, and all the best to the baby. Send my love to Frank.
Oh, I will.
And we'll talk soon. You guys know ChrissieMayr.com. I'll see you tomorrow at 7:00. And thank you so much for all of the wonderful support. We'll see you guys soon. Good night.
Bye.
I'll catch you on the flip side.